If you're buying AI or maybe even building it, you absolutely need to know why so many of these projects are failing. Today, we're going to dive into a totally new way of thinking about AI contracts, one that really flips the script. It's all based on some brilliant work by Thorsten Meyer. Okay, let's get right into it.
I want to start with just one number, 95%. Just let that sink in for a second.
95% of what? Well, according to MIT, that is the number of enterprise generative AI pilots that fail to deliver any measurable financial return. Not a small return, zero. It's a wild number, and it's really the core of the problem we're unpacking today.
So yeah, that brings us to our first big topic, the 95% failure rate. We have to understand why so many of these huge AI investments are just falling flat.
And what's really alarming here is that the problem is actually getting worse, not better. The rate that companies are just giving up and completely scrapping their AI projects has jumped from 17% to 42% in a single year. That's not a slow decline. That is a massive crisis of confidence.
And you know, even for the projects that don't get scrapped, the picture is pretty bleak. Nearly half of the AI that's actually deployed shows zero ROI. Only a tiny 15% actually helps the bottom line. And maybe the craziest stat of all, less than a third of executives are even confident they know how to measure the return. So we're pouring billions of dollars into this tech, and for the most part, we're flying completely blind.
So you have to ask, why is this happening? And that brings us to the real diagnosis. It's what we're calling the hidden costs iceberg. Because it turns out what you think you're paying for AI isn't even close to the real price tag. This image just captures the trap perfectly. You see that vendor license fee? The thing you probably spent months negotiating? That's just the tiny tip of the iceberg. It's only about 15% of your total cost. The other 85% is everything that happens after you sign the check, and that's what sinks the ship.
So what's actually hiding under the water in that other 85%? Well, it's all the stuff nobody really wants to talk about during the sales pitch. It's the insane cost of actually running the models, the API calls, the GPU time. It's the massive effort of data cleaning, the nightmare of integration, the constant maintenance, and of course, the high price of hiring people who know what they're doing. These are the real budget killers.
And this really is the bottom line. The old way of buying AI isn't just broken, it's actually designed, as Meyer puts it, to shovel all of the risk away from the vendor and put it squarely on your shoulders, the buyer.
Okay, so that's the bad news. It's a big problem. But the good news is there is a much, much better way. Let's talk about the solution. Buying outcomes, not promises. This is the big shift in thinking that can actually protect your investment.
The entire philosophy changes by just tweaking one simple question. The old way, the way we've always done it, is to ask, what does it do? What are the features? The new way asks something totally different. What business result does it produce? It's a move from buying a list of promises to buying a guaranteed outcome.
And that one little change, it transforms the entire process. Your RFP stops being a feature checklist and starts defining a hard success metric. You pay for performance, not just for access. And, this is huge, you build in an exit ramp if the vendor can't deliver. Accountability is baked in from the very first day.
And listen, this isn't just some nice theory for the future. This is happening right now. Gartner is already reporting that over 30% of enterprise software contracts include these kinds of outcome-based deals. The market is already shifting. This is the new standard.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually do it? That's what this last section is all about, your new AI playbook, a clear, actionable framework to make this a reality. So the heart of this playbook is a simple set of performance gates. Think of them as checkpoints. At 30 days, all you have to do is prove the tech is plugged in and working. Easy. At 60 days, you prove the model is actually performing better than whatever you were doing before. And only at 90 days do you have to prove it actually moved a real business KPI. Each gate is a clear go or no-go decision.
And here's the best part. The money follows the performance. Instead of cutting a huge check for 100% upfront and just hoping for the best, you release payments only as each gate is passed. The vendor has to earn their fee by delivering real, verified results. If they don't perform, they don't get paid. It's that simple.
So does this actually work? Oh yeah, the data is crystal clear. An MIT study found that when you buy AI with this kind of accountability built in, it has a 67% success rate. That is literally double the rate of projects without it. The structure itself is the key to success.
So after seeing all of this, the question really comes back to you, doesn't it? What does this mean for your next AI contract? What questions are you going to start asking?
I'm just going to leave you with this one final thought because it really says everything. The AI vendor who won't tie payment to outcomes is telling you something about their product. The procurement team that doesn't require it is telling you something about their process. It's a powerful challenge to all of us to demand better from our technology and maybe more importantly, from ourselves.